El Shepherd Show number 91. That's 91 shows in a row I have done. And I want to pat myself on the back. Now, am I too prideful? I don't know. But here we go. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Sing along. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we knew it would. Whoa, things will change and leaves will fall and it will rain. Transformed before your eyes. No time for chasing. Oh boy. Oh, you never know just how life is gonna go. So you jump in your boat and row, row, row. Jump in your boat and row, row, row. Here we go, everybody. Ready? Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it would. Here's the advice. Oh, you gotta aim high and go for your pie in the sky. Go ahead and trust yourself, 'cause everything could right itself. Most things do. Oh, you next the stream, so go ahead now, follow your dream. Jump in your boat and row, row, row. Jump in your boat and row, row, row. Here we go. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we knew it would. Something's gonna happen. Oh no, I've forgotten the microphones. Oh no, there's always something happening. Look at that, show number 91, and I didn't even get the microphones plugged in. Yeah. Like, there's so much to think about up here. I hope you all think about supporting the show, either by straight PayPal to El Shepherd 9, or really I'd prefer to have a Patreon on Patreon. Patrons, all patrons. Because I tell you what, it's hard work. Rob, come to the stage. Sure. And I don't know why I'm up here whining. Oh, you guys, it's so hard. I have to find people to talk to. Who are you?
I'm Robert Rue.
Robert Rue. Okay, I'm
and now I got a microphone.
Yeah, well, you might be better at this than I am, actually, putting it in the proper, so it doesn't rub.
You look like a pro.
I look like a pro. Yeah, thank you. That's encouraging. Robert Rue, thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Robert Rue, who are you?
Robert Rue, who am I? Robert Rue, I live in South Florida, and I'm a singer-songwriter, and currently working on a new record that is feeling super exciting, raising some money to get into the studio through a crowdfunding campaign, which has been a fun process.
You guys are begging for money. That's
Begging
what I was
money.
just doing.
Exactly.
Now,
we have to these days.
let's unpack that, what you just said. Okay, so you're a singer-songwriter and you have some albums already, or is this your first album that you're working on?
This is the first full-length album.
The first full-length album.
Yeah.
And you are recording it where?
Ultimately, it's going to be recorded up in Boston with an outfit called Plaid Dog Recording.
Plaid Dog Recording.
Yeah.
Okay, and what is interesting about their model?
So they...
Oh, wait, before.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I jumped. Well, I should have just let you talk. How? Oh, now I'm pointing at you. You think after 91 shows I know what I'm doing up here.
I just got a finger wag.
I know. We know. Self-check. Everybody check yourself out there, because you never know when you're being ridiculous. How did you hear about Plaid Dog Recording?
They found me, actually. So
okay. This is interesting.
It is, yeah. So they found me, music that I've had online for years, and reached out and said, hey, we have this model where we have a crowdfunding platform like Kickstarter or Indiegogo that they've developed themselves, and they find musicians that they would like to record, and then we go to them and say, hey, we can raise this money with you, and then get you in the studio, and they work with you hand in hand to figure out how to raise that money, figure out how much you can raise, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't contact them at all, so you just get this strange email going, oh, we want to record you. How did you not just hit delete immediately?
I almost did, and I generally do, so I was surprised I didn't, quite
Okay, well, what did they, you don't know, it just sounded English.
It actually sounded like a scam at
Oh.
first, but it was interesting enough that I, reached back out and said, okay, I'll have a conversation. And I think the first phone conversation, I still thought this must be a scam, and then did a little research, and I was like, oh, it's not. There's actually legitimate. There are things that are happening. Yeah, that other, they've been doing it for years, and they've turned out to be a really amazing group of people. That
See,
are
that
doing
is
good
such,
stuff.
that's so magic. This idea that you're just making your music and somebody who has the capability of helping you along heard it. And I'm sure they could ask lots of singer-songwriters, and they asked you.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and you have no idea where they first discovered you.
I'm assuming it would have been on a website like Reverb Nation or something.
Something like that. Somebody's trolling. We just don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, and so their model involves deciding how much you need to do you start with how much it's going to cost you to record the type of album you want?
They actually started it out with trying to get a sense of what my network looked like.
What your network of people, because that's who
Right.
you're raising money from, your own network.
Yep, and so then they actually have this, I guess you could call it an algorithm, a spreadsheet that looks at all that data and spits out a number. So, okay, this is what we get.
Right, so okay, so and what sort of things is it looking at? Your Facebook friends, your likes?
Well, I had to make the list actually, and so they wanted a list of 200 to 300 people with their names, ages, professions. Those were really the things, and then they were able to kind of get a sense of what they thought. And then, of course, I'm getting to be an old man, so they were like, "Well, you're older, so chances are, you're going to be better than some 24-year-old punk that's just
Because your friends are richer?
yeah, sure, they're established.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, more established people. So the chances of actually being
So you had to
is-
actually come up with 200 names of people you knew that might donate to you.
Yeah, 250, I think.
Wow,
Yeah.
that seems like,
Thank God for Facebook.
well, right,
that
thank
a-
God for, yeah, how would you? Yeah, I can come up with 200 pretty easy on Facebook. Click, 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 click. I can tell you when their birthdays are,
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
All right, so they got in touch with you.
Yeah.
You answered some questions of theirs, and
Yeah.
then they give you a number. They say you get X amount,
Yeah.
and so and then you can either record one song. I mean, I guess if you have to have a whole orchestra, that extra amount is only going to
Right.
cover a certain thing.
Yeah, basically, it's it covers, of course, production and studio musicians and mixing and mastering and, of course, time in the studio with all of that. And yeah, so that's just whatever that budget is, or whatever amount that you're able to raise, whether that's short of that number or high of that number, you throw it towards the production. And it's they've ultimately master it. They have a model where you produce a single first,
Ah.
and so you can have that out there as part of your fundraising, and they do that for free, so it's before you've raised any money. And so, no matter what happens, even if you failed to raise all the money, they would still give you that mastered single that you'd walk away with as well. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's really special because that does help if you have one thing behind you put out.
Mm-hmm.
You're not cold calling, as it were.
No doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and you get to choose which of your songs you want on the...
Oh yeah. I mean, you work with a producer though, so there's a producer, and so you ultimately, sure, it's my decision, and the producer you work with gets to help you make those choices if you choose to work with them.
And do they have a minimum number or maximum? We don't. Whatever you can do for whatever. Yeah.
It
so
all
how many
depends,
songs
yeah.
are going to be on yours?
It looks like there's probably going to be 11 or 12, something like that.
And they're all original songs.
Yeah, all original songs. Yeah.
Now, how long have you been writing songs? And
At this point, writing songs, it's been about 32 years. Yeah, something like that. And of course, off and on.
yeah.
Because sometimes you're writing, sometimes you're not, right? So.
Yes, well, I know that feeling too. And do you always play this nylon string type guitar?
I do these days. I started playing this because years ago, about 6 or 7 years ago, I had this autoimmune thing pop up where my hands got that I could hardly use them, and I couldn't play my steel string
How
anymore.
they are now?
This hand's pretty good.
Pretty good?
I can't
Okay.
make a fist with this one still.
All right,
but,
everybody beam some a little aura floofing for that.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
carry on. Okay.
Yeah, so I've had an opportunity to get this awesome guitar because I love it so much. But I really don't play the steel string anymore, and I'm kind of glad about it. It forced me to really hone a lot of different skills.
It's a warm sound too.
Yeah, and it forced me to finger pick and things like that. I don't lean as heavily on a pick. Now that I have this, but I'm starting to make my way back to the steel string, although it's kind of in shambles and needs a luthier to fix it.
Well, we need a luthier. Man needs a luthier. raise a little extra. Oh my goodness. Would you like to perform a song for us?
Sure.
I'm going to go ahead and clip this to you.
2 mics.
And I'm going to
Wow.
leave the room as it were, leave the stage
Uh-huh.
to give you some. I'm going to try and be careful on these. We won't make too much noise.
Uh-huh.
Now, go
Don't
ahead.
make too much noise now, y'all. This is a song called Delbert and the choices he's made. And I haven't played it for a while. We'll see how it goes. His name was Delbert. His mama used to whip him to the bone. I don't know if I could have taken it. Think I would have killed that bitch long ago. Now he stands over her dying body and her soon departed soul. And he says, Mama, I forgive you. Oh, for all this hate and pain that you bestowed. And he makes his way in some mysterious way. Oh, the angels above, all these heavens we all love, I don't know. I think it's choices he's made. I think it's choices he's made. He's made now. Oh, I think it's choices he's made. Now there is Delbert Sr. He is 90 years old. And he says, son, I gotta tell you, oh, I'm so glad we don't grow alone. Dear Dad, you know I love you, even though you threw me to the wolves all those days. And I'm here to tell you, you can go me home for the rest of your days. And he makes his way in some mysterious way. Oh, to the angels above, all these heavens we all love, I don't know. I think it's choices he's made. I think it's choices he's made. He's made now. Oh, I think it's choices he's made. Good old Delbert, he is 40. Got 2 kids of his own. One day while he's watching them, oh, the tears they began to flow. Dear kids, you know I love you,
and you are my hope and joy. And I'm so glad to love you, and I'm so glad we won't grow old alone. And he makes his way in some mysterious way. Oh, to the angels above, or all these heavens we all love, I don't know. I think it's choices he's made. I think it's choices he's made. He's made now. Oh, I think it's choices he's made.
Wow. Might be the choices. They make good choices. Make better choices, continue to choose. At least we can choose.
Always.
At least we can choose. Okay, so you're going to go to Boston because that's where the recording studio is.
Yep. May, maybe June.
And do you have any idea of is it going to be like one day after the other till it's filled, or we don't know?
I'm not sure what that's going to look like.
We don't know yet?
Yeah, we're not quite there. We're going to do all the pre-production in April, and so that's working out arrangements and string arrangements or horn arrangements or those
How
sorts of
exciting.
things. Yeah.
How exciting.
Yeah, and then finding the studio musicians that need to fill the gap.
Yeah, and
people that I'm not working
knowing
with.
about what it's going to cost and writing out whatever needs to be.
Yeah.
And so, do you have a sound for that song? Say, do you already know? Oh, I'd like a violin and a piccolo, or are you just opening or just sort of starting to?
Well, that song, a lot of this music, actually, some of the foundational stuff was recorded years ago, and we're taking that and revisiting it and producing it. And so when that music was recorded at the time, I was playing with a band that was pedal steel guitar, which is play with a guy named Glenn Taylor out of Colorado, who's amazing, finest musician.
Shout out to
ever.
Glenn Taylor.
Yeah, big shout out to Glenn Taylor. And bass, drums, and a guy who was also he was a horn player, but also keys and things like that. So a lot of that stuff is laid, and so it's a matter of what we want to take out that we don't like.
Oh, you can
change.
use the old tracks.
Yep, we're going to use a lot of those
fun.
tracks. Yep.
Yeah.
And then
Remaster.
and then use this money to really take it to another level where we can actually bring in, say a full trio of strings, viola, violin, cello,
I would like to have two
that kind of
full
thing.
orchestras, like this boy, frankly, behind glass. Why not?
Yeah. And then
Okay.
auxiliary percussion, and backup vocals, and really be able to round it out.
Do you want to sing another one right now?
I could, sure.
Okay, we're going to let you sing one more and then send you on your way. Thank you for, I'll thank you before you leave. I'm going to give this back to you. I usually speak really loudly, so I don't. It's all this fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. You're supposed to be mic'd from the back with a little battery pack. Get on that, somebody out there.
That's all right.
Carry on, my friend.
Our undisclosed location does not mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Undisclosed locations.
That's right. It's a magical one.
I made my way to you through St. Andrew. It was a cross that clearly bore only my name. Will you kindly tear it down to 1,000,000 pieces, then build it back so I might. And all the will we have seem to make a difference in the light of day. And all we have is where we are. We will be saved from the grave. We will be fair in all we knew. All we knew of truth. All for truth. All for I made my way through burning deserts with Saint Andrew. He was kindly showing me my own way. And he turned to me with that gentle, endearing smile. And he said, son, there is no other way. And all the will we have to live doesn't seem to make a difference in the light of day. And all we have is where we are. We will be saved from the grave. We will be fair in all we knew. All we knew of truth. All for truth. And all for you. I made my way to you through St. Andrew. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I wanted to give you a gift
Please.
for your time.
I like gifts.
This is a gift. It's a CD of mine with my original songs, some of my original
I
songs
love
on
it.
it. And
love
I really
listening to you.
appreciate your time and your willingness to talk to people about this. And I think that that's. Do we have any questions?
Yes. Actually, from Brittany Charity.
Brittany Charity wants to know something.
Question for Rob. What country will you go to first on your world tour?
Ha!
Yeah,
Whoever will have me. I
No,
tell
okay.
you.
Well, you could go anywhere in the world to play music.
Anywhere in the world to play music.
Oh, yeah, for your world tour.
I mean, I really like Balkan music myself, personally. So, I mean, I would love to go because I could go listen to amazing Balkan
Yes, and
music.
you could bring your Balkan music, your music to Bulgaria, and Balkan is not
Eastern Europe.
Eastern Europe. You could bring your music to Eastern Europe, and they could influence you in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, let it be, baby. So.
Thank
I
you,
really
Laura.
appreciate your time.
Yeah, much love.
Yay! Oh, that was fabulous.
No more questions.
Oh, I've got no more questions for Rob.
No more questions for
okay,
Rob.
Good. All right, Michael Allen, please make your way to the stage. I'm really excited that my friend Michael Allen is going to be here to talk. Hi, Michael Allen. Thank you for taking the time.
Here's an arm to twist.
I really appreciate your agreeing to speak with me on camera, and I do have a CD for you. I don't know if you already have one, and if you do, we can find something better for you. But that's a pretty good little gift for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, is your arm aching a little less?
Yeah.
All right. I ask you to come up here and talk just because you're such an interesting person. But what I find interesting about Michael Allen is you're I would call you a world-class photographer. That's my opinion. I've been all over the world, and turns out you were born into it. Is that correct?
I was born in March 28th, 1948, to Carolyn and Cecil Allen, who were pioneers in the photographic industry, and so as a baby, I got to crawl around on the studio floor.
And where were you in the world?
In Tallapoosa, Georgia.
Tallapoosa, Georgia. Like, so was this in the city or
In a small town.
In a small town, they had a studio.
Yep.
And people would come in and take pictures for what?
Portraits and weddings and.
And what kind of cameras were being
Well, we
used?
always shot cut sheet 4x5.
Cut sheet.
Cut sheet film 4x5 in holders. You got one shot at it. So I've seen.
When you say cut sheet, what did you take a sheet and actually
No,
cut
it
it up, or
comes
just
in
came?
a box.
Yeah.
And you load them in holders.
And hold it. You had
And
to
you have to
load
pull the
each
slide
piece.
out
Yeah.
for each shot, and then turn them and insert it back in the view camera. We shoot view cameras.
And you had one shot.
Well, when each holder, you'd have to pull the holder out and put another holder in. You had
Yeah.
2 shots in a holder. Anyway, in those days, the film was like a speed 8, which took a lot of light. You couldn't shoot in low light.
Oh, so it was important to have good lighting in the
Good
studio. That's
lighting,
why people
and-
had to go to a studio, I guess.
So I've been around this industry all my life. My dad was a pioneer in the field.
Well, what I think is hilarious is that so you started there, and yesterday I saw you flying a camera drone.
Yes.
So you've been through. So okay, so you grew up crawling around on the floor in front of these fancy cameras.
Yeah.
And when would your parents let you
Yeah.
touch them? When did they let you take a picture? When you got on
Well,
the
actually, as about 3 years old, I had my own enlarger and pans and everything.
tape? At 3.
At 3 to 4 years old, I had my own dark room set up, and so they'd let me start shooting at
At
young
that age.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've
and-
gotten to see the industry. Then they went into the professional end of it and started doing professional photo finishing, and
What does that mean, professional photo finishing?
we did photo finishing for the professionals and studios. They would shoot it, the film, and bring it to us, and then we would do their printing for them.
Right, because at that point, having a dark room to be able to process film and do it, and it was what, done by a person, eh?
Well, by that time it was all machine done.
Okay, by then there was a machine to do it.
Yeah,
Yep.
machines, high-speed machines. We had black and white color, E6, a huge facility. But I've gotten to go from speed 8 black and white film. My dad helped develop the first high-speed black and white films,
Yeah.
and then we didn't even have color at that time.
Yeah.
It was all black and white, and I got to see color come in, and that was a whole new thing. And it was very toxic in the old days. They had had cyanide in the film.
Cyanide in the film.
And,
Interesting.
so now we've gone from that to the drone to this,
Right, what is the speed of that camera?
3200.
Yeah, so we've gone from 8 to 3200.
Oh, you can go way faster than that.
But your phone is going at 32. That's like this. That's like incredible.
Yes,
Like
incredible.
the difference. Like what your telephone can take better pictures than
Than you ever thought about.
ever thought about. Okay, and so when did see, he's told me some of these stories in the past. I think it's super interesting. So what was your first photography job outside of the house?
I don't know. I always shot with my parents.
With your parents?
You know, we were a team, kind of. Shoot weddings. We shot a lot of weddings and groups. We'd shoot big groups of people.
Oh, right. Everybody lined up on the steps.
Lined up, yeah.
Yeah. They used to do
class
that.
reunions and
Right, because
that kind of
pictures
thing.
back then were more formal.
yeah,
Yeah.
formal pictures. Yeah.
Okay, and then all of a sudden there's mobile developing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I fell in love and moved to North Carolina mountains and had to find another job, so I took my photography, and I'd bought some 1-hour mini labs, small ones, and I got the contract to shoot whitewater rafting. And
so
then
you bought a mini lab. What did that look like at the time? Did it come in a box?
It's like a small box, about this big.
And it would hold chemicals.
Chemicals.
And where did you pin them up?
They would come out dry. Had a dryer on the end.
Had a dryer on the end.
Spit them out dry.
Okay,
And
so you bought. What year was this?
That was early '90s.
Early '90s. We've gotten to the point where you're driving around with a developer tank.
Oh, I had it in a school bus.
In a school bus.
Yeah, and I had them parked, but I had the girls running. In fact, John Smiley was a runner for me in the old days, and I had girls taking pictures, running pictures, selling pictures. I had about 15 girls working for me.
Okay, so people would come get on a raft trip,
Uh-huh.
and there'd be somebody there with a camera
Taking their picture.
taking their picture.
And then I would soup it real quick.
Soup it! He'd soup it!
Soup it.
And souping it meant,
Developing the film.
uh-huh.
And I'd had a hot mix. I could do it real quick.
You had a hot mix. What do you
Had a
mean? Like
hot mix.
the amount of chemical was hot? Like you could...
Well, time, temperature, agitation, and strength of solution is the
Time, temperature, strength, and agitation?
and strength of solution
And strength of solution and the agitation.
determines the speed of your development.
Oh.
You can make something hot by heating it up, or making the developer more concentrated, for instance.
Right, and then you could pass it through faster. So they would take pictures of how many pictures in a day might you develop?
About 1,500.
1,500. So they'd hand you an actual roll of film,
Uh-huh.
and you had to stretch that film out. And
Well, I had a little room. I had a little closet.
A little closet in the school.
And most of the girls couldn't get in there. They were claustrophobic because you closed the door and there was just room to stand in there.
Yeah.
And I could do 6 rolls of film at once. You shuck them out, put them on the reel, and throw them on a rod, and then soup them.
And soup them. And eat soup them.
6 minutes, I'd have film.
Okay, and then
It's for digital. Even
Right.
now, digital is
well, no, I know now I can take a picture and send it to my mother
around the world.
in Eastern Europe, fully developed, and she can print it out at.
But that was as close to digital as we could get. You know.
Right, so they would people would get on the physically have to drive from.
Actually, I had run a phone line down the river for a quarter of a mile. A friend of mine worked at the phone company, and that was before the cordless phones and all.
Yeah.
So I had a step ladder sitting out in the middle of the river that was my office.
He had a step ladder
In the middle of the
in the
river.
middle of the river that
With
was
a phone
his
line
office.
running out in the middle of the river with one of those old phones hanging on the side and baskets on the front. I'd put the jobs in
Yeah.
and a clipboard, and they would call me from the office and say, I got 450 people coming down,
Yeah.
and I'd get ready to shoot them, and they'd tell me what trip it was. I'd mark it on there.
Oh, you would be taking the photo.
I did, and I had girls shooting for me too.
Uh-huh.
But that was our office in the middle of the river. You'd climb up on the step ladder and get a little better angle.
Right.
And we were right on a waterfall there.
Yeah,
And,
so that the waterfall would be in the background of the picture.
Yeah, right.
And then your school bus was parked near there, so you
Yeah.
had the film yourself after
yeah,
they'd
I
gone
just
down.
walk right out of the bus and shoot them.
Shoot them, and then how would you get the photographs from the bus to the people?
We'd have a runner.
The runner just drive up
And
the
that was
road.
like John Smiley was a runner for
was
me.
a runner for you, and you're still friends to this day.
Yeah, still friends this day.
That is something. All right, well, and you thought of that yourself, or
Yeah.
clever little fellow you are?
Now you can't sell a picture to anybody.
No, why would I buy
Yeah,
one? I'm going to
everybody's
get
out
my
there
mama
on
to stand on the side and.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want pictures anyways. We don't even have photo albums.
I know, no, nobody has photos anymore. Well, I hope it's been interesting.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Are there any questions that anybody has to ask the Michael Allen? Where's some of the funniest places you've taken pictures? What's some of the funniest places you've had been paid? We don't want to
I
answer.
couldn't tell that. I'd have to kill you.
No questions.
Okay, no questions. You may leave the room.
Thank you.
All right, we're going
Thank
to
you,
get
Laura.
Joan. Where's Joan? Joan, are you
Joan.
around? Oh, do we have Joan? We have one more guest.
I don't see her.
Oh, Joan has left the building. Well,
I can show you the back.
no, that's okay. She's not here. She's gone on. That's the way it rolls. Is she in there? She can't hear. Joan, are you in there? No, she's not here. She's not. We don't care. Bill! We need Bill! Bring Bill to the stage. This is loosey-goosey around here. People out there, you guys are lucky we got a show today. We're on an undisclosed location. Bill,
Good morning.
how are you?
I'm pretty good.
I'm going to clip this on you.
Okay.
What do you do, Bill?
I am an audiovisual technician.
Well, thank you so much
Which
for
is a
helping me set up these cameras today.
Fancy
I really
name
appreciate
for a stagehand.
a stagehand. Do you
Yes.
actually, I'm just going to move this so it's not
Uh-huh.
hitting the microphone. I never know what it sounds like. So you do that, yeah.
Mhm.
And
All aspects. I'll wire people up with microphones like you just did, or I'll build trusses and hang speakers, or
so do you travel a lot, or
That's
do you do that near where you live?
most of my business is in Orlando, but occasionally I'll travel to Salt Lake City or Tampa or Atlanta or someplace like that where there's convention work.
Okay.
But I like to stay close to home,
Yeah.
my friends, my kitty cat.
Little kitty cat. There
Max.
you go.
Hi, Max.
I know that you also like to paint rocks.
Yes, I do.
Okay, I think you have something we're going to
I
give.
have
We're
some
gonna
rocks.
we're going to have a giveaway fest.
Okay.
All right, we have how many do we have to choose from
We have
here?
four.
We have 4 to choose from, and they're for people in the audience. So
Who wants Chili Willy?
who wants Chili Willy?
Any takers?
All right, here, let me hold him up for the camera. Okay, come on up and get
you
it.
You can be the rock painter.
I don't want. I'd throw it at you, but I don't know.
Okay.
Chili Willy, congratulations!
Thank you.
Yay! All right, who's next?
Okay, Hootie Hoo.
Oh, Miss Hootie Hoo. Who wants Hootie Hoo?
Hootie Hoo, Little Owl.
Everybody's being polite. Oh, we got somebody. You got to rush the stage if you want it, friends. That's all I can tell you. You got to rush the stage. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Who else we got? Isn't this fun?
We got Little Blingy Bug.
Oh, little blingy bug. Who wants blingy bug? Rush the stage.
Bug,
Come on
rush
up
the
here,
stage.
blingy bug.
There's a Blingy
There,
Bug.
wait, let's show him. Blingy bug. Blingy bug. Okay, there you go.
Blingy Bug.
All right, one more.
And here's Hootie's brother, Howard. Howard the Owl.
Hootie's brother Howard. Somebody rush the stage. Rush the stage. There you go. Hootie's brother Howard. Thank you.
Yay.
Oh,
Okay.
now, oh, there's Joan.
Rock on, everybody.
All right. Joan has reappeared.
Oh, okay. We're gonna give
I wonder.
it.
I don't know. Joan, are you in? I don't know. She's in. Joan had wandered off. She's wandered back. She might be in. She might be
coming?
out. She's in. She's
Here
in.
she
Okay,
goes.
because we're going to get you back
Okay.
to do a finishing song with me. Thank you so much. Yay! Come on, come on, Joan. We're going to get you in here for a minute because Joan is super exciting. Yay! And we have this history in that Joan knew my parents, which is really pleasant to be around somebody that knew
I
my
knew
parents.
Laura's parents long before I knew Laura.
There you go.
So it was a really nice thing to find out that Laura was the daughter of some of my, we weren't close friends, but we were pretty good friends.
Yeah. So there you go. So that's warming. You were a professional. Everybody guess. What do you think she was? And I'll give you a hint. It's a sport. You were
I was a professional high diver
a professional.
when I was young
high
and
diver.
not quite as smart as I am today.
And how did you? What year was that?
It was
Sorry.
back, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I guess I wonder how much has changed. Is what I'm asking.
Well, a lot has changed. It was back in the 50s,
Okay.
so I don't know how many of
And
you
how
go
did you get
back that
recruited?
far. Well, I was a competitor as an amateur diver, and I progressed and finally got up to the 10 meters, which is very lonely
And were you doing this at-
scaring.
Sorry, I keep interrupting. Were you doing this at school or at a community pool?
No, I was doing it independently from school.
Independently at a swimming pool somewhere with the
Yes,
trainer.
in a club with
In
a
a
trainer.
club. Okay.
Yes.
And what made you get into that in the first place?
Well, the first time I ever tried to dive, I went off a 1 meter board and I did a belly flop.
Oh, dear.
And it hurt me so badly that I made myself determined that I would conquer this challenge. So I started off quite low and then gradually worked up. And then as a professional, it was the 10 meter board, which is 35 feet high, which is
Pretty darn high.
It's lonely up there.
I bet it
And if
is.
the wind's blowing, it's a little scary. But I was recruited because people had seen me dive competitively and then asked me, do you want to make some money doing this? So,
Money?
money.
How do you make money diving into a pool?
Well, it was a show, a water show. It was in the Esther Williams days.
Oh yes, Esther Williams was an actress. Well, there were movies made with all this synchronized swimming.
Right.
And Esther Williams was a swimmer, and she was a star.
Yes, well, I did synchronized swimming too, but they called me the Esther Williams of England,
Ooh.
actually, at the time.
Because this was in England, by the way, everyone.
Yes, it was all in England and Europe. And so I went for the money. I was 18. I left home. And
What did your parents think?
well, they thought I was crazy, but that was nothing new.
Okay, but they let you do it, or you did it anyways. I guess.
They were a little concerned because it is a dangerous sport. One of my colleagues actually broke his neck going from a 10-meter platform and was permanently paralyzed. So it was dangerous, and they were concerned. But at 18, what are you scared of, you know? At 18 years old, you just do what you want to do.
So
I
when you
did
were
that.
being paid, at that point you were performing, not competing.
I was performing in a show, in an aqua show.
And did this aqua show travel?
It traveled.
You carried your pool, or did you go 2 pools?
We went to pools.
Yeah, I mean, like you carry your pool? I don't know. I mean, you know, do you blow
Not,
it up when you
not
get there?
every pool has a 10-meter
Right.
diving platform or 3-meter springboard.
Right.
So we went to pools around England and around the northern part of Europe, France, Belgium, and sometimes a little further south. But
And people would come sit into a swimming pool. I'm imagining, so were these outdoor pools or indoor pools?
always outdoors.
Always outdoors. So there would be
deck chairs all around.
deck
and
chairs. No
people-
bleachers, or not necessarily?
No,
Maybe depending. No
yeah,
bleachers.
depending.
Yeah.
And so they would stop all activity in the pool for our show. So,
And you all would travel around, and did people pay to see your show?
well, they paid to come into the pool.
Pool.
And,
And the
on
pool would hire
us. Yes.
us. And how many people traveled in your...
5 of us. 5 of us. I was the only woman diver.
Oh.
There other divers were men. And then there was a couple who performed acrobatics, her being the lifter and him being the balancer. And
That's a little twist on the subject, isn't
yeah, and 2 male divers, and me.
it? And so there was like a little story, or somebody was talking. Was there a microphone involved?
Yes, there was
an MC?
we had an MC, yes, and he could make some funny jokes about when you dive out of your swimsuit and things like that.
Right.
It
And the
happened
show
to
lasted...
me a couple of times.
No, really?
Yeah, because when you're coming down from that height and you're hitting that water, it's like a wall. It's like
Yeah.
a brick wall. So once or twice, my swimsuit came off, and I didn't know it. And the show was that the men pulled you out of the pool and you did your thing, you know. And so he would say things about that. So, like trying to drown puppies or something like that.
And so you all drove around in a bus, or
We had a bus, yes.
And then, now I must say, in the 50s, a young lady riding around with all these men, were you considered, who was protecting you, or nobody cared?
They all protected me. I was
Right.
the youngest, and I was very well protected.
You felt safe,
I was safe.
even, and then, did you all sleep on the road?
No, we
So it would
slept
be a day-
in places. Yeah, we
Like-
slept in hotels if we were abroad.
Right. And so did you have to have your own room because you were the only girl, or did they let you
Well,
sleep
we
with
shared most everything.
Well, I know, which to me doesn't sound so weird. In college, 10 of us would sleep in the same room, you know,
I know,
and
we
then
share-
Mariah, you sleep on the
We shared
ground.
most everything, and it was really a fun time. And then it got time to stop, you know.
And so you find that you don't do any more diving.
Well, I still swim, and I swam competitively up until a few years ago with the International Master Swimmers Association.
International Master Swimmers. Who
Some-
even knew? That's something you can strive for, to become
Well,
an
you
international
swim against
master swimmer.
you swim against people in your age group against the clock, so you don't necessarily have to be in the pool with your competition. You swim whatever distance you're
Boy,
Yeah.
how times have changed. We used to have every competitor lined up on the same pool jumping in. Now you can dive in your pool and I can dive in mine and we can race each other.
It has to be organized. of
Yes,
course.
but I mean, yes, but we could.
Yeah, so you're racing against the clock, and other swimmers in your age group are doing the same, and then the times are sent to some central international master swimmers place, wherever it might be, and you're put in places.
Right.
I was 10th in the United States at one time.
10th in the United States at
Yeah,
one time.
and in my
That's
for
pretty. I mean,
100 meters.
I'm in first in 100 meter crawl or what?
Crawl.
100 meter crawl.
Freestyle, they call it now.
A freestyle, yes. Wow. Number 10. That's pretty darn amazing.
Yeah,
And
that was a long time ago, though. You
yes.
know,
Well, I
times
know,
have
but
changed.
still, that's so
I still swim
interesting.
pretty often.
Yeah.
So-
Wow. Can you tell us? Tell me something about. Tell me something interesting. About. I can't even think of another. You know, it's like, oh my goodness.
I'll tell you something interesting about what?
Oh, about diving.
About diving? Well, diving is very freeing. When you're in the air, you're flying. It's really wonderful. It's of course an individual sport, so you do what you want. You train and do. And in the days when I was training, my trainer, I would be doing somersault spins, and he would tell me when to kick out, and then you kick out when you see the water. You have to see the water and then open your.
So you'd be spinning in the air, waiting to hear him say "out" to stretch out.
Yeah, now everything's electronic. They have, and the other divers would be sitting doing this in the water, so that you could see the water. It wasn't like a mirror. So, but now they have everything electronic, and
So
they have
other
playbacks and all
Other
that.
divers would have to sit around and agitate the water so it wasn't a glassy surface
Right.
for you, and now something does it
And that-
automatically.
And now
This is how
and then I
times have
would,
changed.
after I did my dive, I would sit and do the same.
And then now, yeah, that. There you
And
go.
I think everybody enjoys watching diving on TV when it's the Olympics. It's really evolved. The equipment's evolved. We had wooden boards with coconut matting on them, and now they have fiberglass boards which give them a lot of spring. They have a fulcrum which can be maneuvered to get more spring or less spring depending on the kind of dive that they're
or
doing.
probably even the weight of the person diving.
And yes, and now they're doing synchronized diving with two divers, maybe of different weights, and trying to do the exact same in the movements in the air and into the water at the exact same time. So the Japanese and the Chinese are really good at this. They have small bodies, small center of gravity.
Yeah.
And
Well, just
they can
even
do
the
it.
idea of trying to do it synchronized, like who knew?
Yeah, who could do it?
Who
I couldn't
knew?
do that. Nobody could. I couldn't keep up with someone else.
Well, I don't know, but I think that it's super interesting how, like you say, the thing has evolved. And my guess is, if when they were using wooden boards, the spring was probably different from board to board, depending on the
It was
wood.
different. There's a thing called a fulcrum at the end, which is like a wheel, which lifts the board up a little bit or takes it back so you have a longer board to do your bounce at the end. And
This is my graphic.
Yeah.
So the fulcrum can come forward and be less bouncy, or
Yeah.
back and it'd be more bouncy.
right. So you would adjust.
my
in
gang sign.
practice. You would adjust in practice. You would adjust it to how you want it, and then you count your steps. How many steps are you going to take before
yeah.
you do your little step to bounce? And if you're doing backwards dive, then you have to stand on your tippy toes with your back to the water. Everything's changed. Everything has evolved, and they're doing dives now that were not heard of or imagined
Right.
back when I was doing it. So thank you very much.
Oh,
for
you're
asking me
so
all this
welcome.
stuff.
Do you think you inspired some people to dive?
I think Beth's going to be diving tomorrow, and
Okay.
Susan.
Yeah, I meant it.
I don't think they could.
Are there any questions
resist.
from the audience? Anybody have anything they absolutely want to know?
Brittany Charity has
Brittany
a
Charity
question
wants to
for
know a
Joan.
question. What is it?
What's your best life advice for women?
What's your best life advice for women?
Oh my goodness, Brittany, you always put me on the spot.
I know, we love Brittany.
And I do love Brittany.
Or just, yeah, your best, or the best that you can come up with right this minute. We won't
I
hold you
think
to it.
just be nice. And my mother said, and don't hurt anyone. do what you want to do and don't hurt anyone. And she had a saying, and I'll share it with you, and you all might like this. She said to me, love many, trust few, always paddle your own canoe. So
Always paddle your own canoe.
with
yeah.
that saying, it means be independent. So
Okay, be independent. That's a
and
good
do what you
advice.
want to do and don't hurt anyone. And will you tell Brittany that I love her, please?
Okay, well, she
We
just
love
heard
you,
because
Brittany.
She's watching on. We love you, Brittany. And thanks for your little questions, Brittany.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
it's
asking.
fun to have some interaction. Thank you, Joan. And we're gonna get Bill back up here
Okay, thank you for asking me, Laura.
to kind of thank you, Joan. Yay! I really appreciate it. All right, we're gonna close out this show with Bill back up here. I appreciate the audience out there. We're in this undisclosed location with this audience that has been trapped, and I appreciate your all's attention. And there's so many leaves on the floor, and everybody's been real quiet. And I think that if we get through this song, we can turn the troops loose. Because Lord, it's like there's things to be done. We got a trailer to work. I got work to do. Anybody want to sing along?
Yeah.
Come on. Don't jump freight trains when they roll by. Don't like the blues, I'll tell you why. I go downtown when I want to smoke, and I'm treating life like a joke. And I won't go sinning in my neighbor's yard, 'cause he's been a-working mighty hard. I go downtown, but I don't wear shoes. Oh Lord, I don't sing the blues. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry the sunshine too. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, but let the sunshine through. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, but let the sunshine through. I won't get cross if you smile at me, and I'll throw my troubles out to sea. I don't wear black or need a heart attack, 'cause we could be happy. How about that? Don't think much about what could go wrong, and I don't want to sing about it in a song. But I'll look at you and shake my head. Lord knows, some people, they'd be better off dead. Carry my rain in a bushel basket and carry the sunshine too. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, but let the sunshine through. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, but let the sunshine through. I don't see Saturn when I look at the stars, but I know it's out there and so's Mars. I don't think much about the evening news, and Lord knows I'm not gonna sing the blues. I don't like ham, but I do like toast, and I certainly don't care who you hate the most. I don't care how it's always been done. You could give him, but still have a little song. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry the sunshine too. Carry my rain in a little basket, let the sunshine through. Carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, carry my rain in a bushel basket, let the sunshine through. You gotta let your sunshine through. Thank you all very much. We're gonna get somebody to end the show for us. You're gonna have to hit the finish button for us. Please help somebody somehow. Give somebody you know making something. Help somebody. Do something. Go ahead. All right, bye. See you next time.